Folks, have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, is this all there is left for me? I'm 78 years young, and after a lifetime of hard work, raising kids, and keeping life's wheels turning, I've learned something that changed everything. The key to a joyful life after 60 isn't piling more onto your plate. It's letting go of what's holding you back. Stay with me, because I'm about to share 9 things you can release to live lighter, freer, and happier, starting today. The last one? It might just change how you greet tomorrow morning. Life after 60 feels like opening a brand new book, doesn't it? Maybe you're retired, maybe you're rediscovering yourself, or maybe you're just ready to claim this time as yours. I've spent over a decade sitting with folks like us, people in their 60s, 70s, even 90s, listening to their stories of struggle, wisdom, and joy. And here's what I've seen. The best moments come when you stop chasing and start choosing. Choosing peace. Choosing meaning. Choosing you. But to do that, you've got to let some things go, not because you've messed up, but because you've earned the right to live on your own terms. So, grab a glass of iced tea, settle into your favorite chair, and let's walk through 9 things you can let go of after 60. These aren't just tips, they're lessons from real people who've shown me what it means to live well. Let's dive in. 1. Stop saving out of fear. You know that feeling when you check your bank account and a little voice whispers, "What if it's not enough?" For most of our lives, we've been taught to save for a rainy day, save for retirement, save just in case. And let me tell you, that habit served us well. It's how we paid off mortgages, sent kids to school, and built lives we're proud of. But after 60, saving out of fear can start to feel like a chain around your heart. It's time to let that fear go, my friend. I met a fellow named Tom a few years back. Tom was 68, with a paid-off house, no debts, and a tidy nest egg, over $1 million, mind you. He'd worked as a mechanic for 40 years, saving every dime he could. But when his wife, Ellen, suggested a trip to Hawaii, Tom's face would tighten. "What if we need that money later?" he'd say. "What if the car breaks down or the roof leaks?" I could see the worry etched in his eyes, like he was carrying the weight of 100 what-ifs. One evening over coffee, I asked him gently, "Tom, what if later is now? What if you've already saved enough for the life you want, but you're too scared to live it?" That question hung in the air like a summer breeze. Tom didn't say much, but I could tell it landed. A month later, he called me, voice brighter than I'd ever heard. "We booked the trip," he said. "Hawaii, just like Ellen wanted." When they came back, Tom wasn't just suntanned, he was alive. He told me about swimming in the ocean, laughing with Ellen under the stars, making memories they'd carry forever. Now, don't get me wrong, saving is still important. You want to know your bills are covered, your home's secure, your family's okay. But if you've planned well, your money isn't just for emergencies. It's for living. For taking your grandkids to an amusement park. For buying that fishing rod you've eyed for years. For sitting down to a steak dinner just because it feels good. Fear tells you to hold tight, but courage says spend on what matters. Ask yourself, what's worth my money while I've still got time to enjoy it? Maybe it's a weekend getaway, a gift for someone you love, or even fixing up your porch so you can watch the sunset in peace. Whatever it is, let go of the guilt. You've worked hard, you've saved wisely. Now give yourself permission to enjoy the fruits of that labor. Your life's not a bank statement. It's the moments you make with the people you love. 2. Stop spending on things that don't light you up. Now that you're ready to loosen the purse strings a bit, let's talk about spending smart. Not just throwing money around, but spending on things that make your heart sing. After 60, it's so easy to slip into old habits. Buying stuff because it's on sale, because someone expects it, or because you're trying to keep up appearances. But here's a question to chew on. How much of what you buy actually brings you joy? I knew a woman named Margaret, bless her soul. She was 71, sharp as a tack, with a laugh that could fill a room. Every year, Margaret would spend hundreds, sometimes thousands, on clothes she never wore, gifts she felt pressured to give, and gadgets she bought because they were a steal. Her closet was stuffed, her garage overflowing, but her smile? It was fading. One day, she told me about a spur-of-the-moment decision. She'd spent $500 on a plane ticket to surprise her sister in Ohio. "I hadn't seen her in years," Margaret said, her eyes misty. "I just showed up at her door, and we hugged so tight I thought we'd never let go." They spent the weekend cooking old family recipes, flipping through photo albums, laughing until their sides hurt. That trip, she said, meant more than every shopping spree she'd ever taken. It wasn't about the money, it was about the feeling, the connection, the memory. That's what I want for you. Your money should go where your heart does. Maybe it's a new rocking chair for your porch, where you can sip coffee and watch the birds. Maybe it's a weekly lunch with your best friend, splitting a slice of pie and swapping stories. Or maybe it's something bigger, like a cruise to Alaska to see the glaciers before they're gone. Whatever it is, let go of spending that feels heavy, guilt-driven gifts for folks who don't appreciate them, fancy toys to impress neighbors you barely know. Joy doesn't always come with a price tag either. Some of the richest moments are free. A walk with your grandkids, a handwritten note to an old pal, or just sitting still listening to the rain. Before you open your wallet, ask yourself, is this adding to my life, or just cluttering it up? Let go of the noise, the pressure, the obligation, the rush. Spend with intention, because after all these years, you deserve a life that feels full, not just a house that's full of stuff. 3. Stop trading time for money, unless it feeds your soul. For most of our lives, time and money were like two sides of a coin. You worked hard, maybe at a factory, an office, a classroom, and those hours earned your paycheck. That's how you paid for the house, the groceries, the kids' shoes. You did what needed doing, even when it was tough, even when it wore you out. But after 60, things change. Time becomes your most precious gift, and it's time to stop trading it away unless it truly fills your soul. I had a buddy, John, who taught high school history for 35 years. Loved his students, loved telling stories about the past. When he hit 62, folks kept nudging him. John, when are you retiring? He'd just grin and say, when I stop loving it. And he meant it. He kept teaching year after year, because it gave him purpose, kept him young. But one morning at 66, he woke up and felt different. It's time, he told me. He retired, started volunteering at the library, building birdhouses with his grandkids. When I saw him last, he looked lighter, like he'd shed a weight he didn't even know he was carrying. But I've seen the other side, too. People who stay in jobs they can't stand, not because they need the money, but because they're scared. Scared of losing their routine, their identity. I knew a woman, Helen, who worked as a bank teller well into her 60s. She'd come home exhausted, complaining about her boss, her feet aching. Why do you stay? I asked. She paused, then whispered, I don't know who I'd be without it. That broke my heart. Here's the truth. You're more than your job. You're the stories you tell, the people you love, the dreams you still carry. Ask yourself, does my work make me feel alive, or is it just filling my days? If it's the latter, maybe it's time to let go. Not to sit idle, oh no, but to trade your time for meaning. Maybe that's planting a garden, joining a book club, or just having coffee with your spouse without rushing off. You've earned the right to choose. Don't let fear or habit keep you stuck. Your time's too valuable for that now. Let go of the grind and make room for what lights you up inside. 4. Stop waiting for someday adventures. How many times have you caught yourself saying, I'll get to it someday? That road trip across the country, that painting class you've always wanted to try, that visit to an old friend you keep putting off. It's so easy to push things to tomorrow, next year, later. But let me say this with all the love in my heart. Someday isn't guaranteed. After 60, it's time to let go of waiting and start doing. I knew a couple, Ed and Sally, who had a dream for years. They wanted to buy a little camper and drive cross-country, seeing everything from the Grand Canyon to the Smoky Mountains. Every Christmas, they'd talk about it, plan routes on napkins, laugh about stopping at every diner they passed. But every spring they'd say, next summer we'll do it. Life got in the way, grandkids, house repairs, you name it. Then one winter, Ed had a health scare. Nothing fatal, thank goodness, but it shook them both. Sally told me later, we realized we'd been waiting for permission that was never coming. So they stopped waiting. That April, they bought a used camper, packed it with blankets and coffee, and hit the road. 6 months later, I got a postcard from Yellowstone. Ed's handwriting, wobbly but proud. It's not perfect, he wrote, but it's ours. They'd seen sunsets that took their breath away, met strangers who became friends, eaten greasy burgers at roadside stands. It wasn't about the miles, it was about saying yes to life. What's your someday dream? Maybe it's simple, like learning to bake bread from scratch. Maybe it's bold, like taking a train through the Rockies. Whatever it is, don't let it gather dust. You don't need everything to be perfect. No one's handing out gold stars for flawless timing. Ask yourself, why not now? What's holding me back? Sometimes it's fear of change, fear of looking silly, fear of stepping out of routine. But here's a secret. The world's still full of wonder, and you're not too old to chase it. Let go of later. Pick one thing today, a phone call, a class, a ticket, and take the first step. Life's too short to keep postponing joy. You've got stories left to write, adventures left to live. Say yes and watch what happens. 5. Stop ignoring your body's needs. Let's talk about something we all know, but don't always love to face, our health. I'm not here to lecture, because Lord knows we've heard enough of that. But after 60, your body's like an old car you've driven for decades. It's still got plenty of road ahead, but it needs a little TLC to keep humming along. Letting go of neglecting your health isn't about chasing youth. It's about holding on to your freedom. I met a woman named Clara at a community center a few years ago. She was 72, with a smile that could light up a cloudy day. Clara told me she used to feel tired all the time. Her knees ached. Her energy was gone by noon. She figured it was just part of getting older. Then her daughter dragged her to a walking group, just 10 minutes around the park, twice a week. Clara grumbled at first, but she went. A year later, she was walking miles, hiking with her grandkids, even carrying her own groceries without a huff. I didn't realize how much I was missing, she said, until I felt good again. Health isn't about running marathons or eating nothing but salads. It's about small choices that add up to big changes. Maybe it's swapping one soda for water, or stretching for 5 minutes in the morning to ease your back. Maybe it's joining a chair yoga class at the senior center. Those are a hoot, by the way. I tried one once, and I swear I felt taller afterward. It's about giving your body the care it deserves so you can keep doing what you love, playing cards with friends, gardening, or just getting out of bed without wincing. Ask yourself, what's one thing I could do to feel stronger tomorrow? Make that doctor's appointment you've been dodging. Take a walk around the block, even if it's slow. Try a healthy recipe, just one. I know it's tempting to say, I'm too old to start now. But that's hogwash. Every step you take is a gift to yourself, a way to stay independent, to keep laughing and loving without pain holding you back. Let go of putting your health on the back burner. You're worth the effort. Your body's carried you this far. Show it some gratitude, and it'll carry you even further. 6. Stop caring what others think. Oh, this one's a big one, folks. All our lives, we've danced to someone else's tune. Good parent, good worker, good neighbor. We've worried about what the boss thinks, what the family expects, what the folks at church might whisper. But after 60, it's time to ask, who am I living for now? Letting go of other people's opinions is like opening a window to fresh air. I knew a gal named Betty, 65 years old, with a spark in her eye that hadn't dimmed a bit. Betty loved art, always had, but she'd never taken a painting class. What if I'm terrible? She told me. What if people think it's silly for an old lady to start now? I looked at her and said, Betty, who cares? Paint for you. She signed up the next week. When I saw her a month later, she was beaming, paint smudged on her cheek, showing me a canvas of bright flowers. Was it perfect? No. Did it make her happy? Like nothing else. She didn't care who saw it. She'd found a piece of herself she'd forgotten was there. That's what I want for you. The older you get, the more you've earned the right to be yourself, no apologies needed. Wear that loud Hawaiian shirt if it makes you grin. Say no to family gatherings that leave you drained. Try something new, karaoke, ballroom dancing, writing poetry, even if you're not good at it. Life's too short to shrink yourself to fit someone else's box. Ask yourself, what would I do if I stopped worrying about looking foolish? Maybe it's speaking your mind at the next town meeting, or wearing purple sneakers just because you love them. I read once about a hospice nurse who asked dying folks about their regrets. The biggest one? I wish I'd lived for myself, not for others. That sticks with you, doesn't it? Let go of the need to please everyone. You don't owe the world an explanation for who you are. Be bold, be honest, be you, because there's only one of you, and you're a masterpiece just as you are. After all these years, you've earned the freedom to shine, no matter what anybody thinks. 7. Stop drowning in bad news. Now, I'm not saying you should hide from the world. Knowing what's going on matters. We're thoughtful folks, and we care about our communities, our country, our planet. But let me ask you something. Does sitting in front of the TV for hours, watching every news channel argue and shout, make your heart feel lighter? I'm guessing not. After 60, it's time to let go of drowning in the doom and gloom. I had a neighbor, George, who was glued to the news. Morning, noon, and night, he'd flip between channels, soaking in every crisis, every argument. By supper, he'd be slumped in his chair, muttering about how the world was falling apart. It wasn't just his mood, it was his health, too. His blood pressure was up, his sleep was shot. One day I said, "George, what if you took a break? Just a week?" He grumbled, but he tried it. He limited himself to 30 minutes of news a day, then spent the rest reading mysteries, walking his dog, talking to his kids. A month later, he told me, "I feel like I can breathe again." He even noticed things he'd missed, like the way his neighbor's kid always waved hello. The news isn't there to inform you half the time. It's there to keep you hooked. Fear's a powerful thing, but it's a lousy way to live. Your attention is precious, and you get to choose where it goes. Why not choose what lifts you up? There's still kindness out there, folks helping folks, communities coming together. I saw a story last week about a group of seniors knitting blankets for a shelter. That's the world I want to focus on. Ask yourself, is this news helping me live better, or just stealing my peace? Let go of the endless noise. Try cutting back, maybe 20 minutes in the morning, then turn it off. Read a good book, listen to music, or call a friend instead. Stay informed, sure, but don't let fear run your days. You've lived through enough to know the world keeps turning, and there's still beauty worth seeing. Protect your heart, because after all these years, you deserve calm, not chaos. 8. Stop avoiding or obsessing over your money. Money's a funny thing after 60, isn't it? Some of us avoid it like a wasp's nest, too scary to touch. Others watch it like a hawk, counting every penny, afraid to spend a dime. Both ways rob you of peace, and it's time to let that go. Whether you're dodging your finances or glued to them, there's a better way to live. I knew a man, Frank, who'd flat out refused to look at his bank statements. "It's too much," he'd say, waving his hand like he could shoo the numbers away. Frank was 67, retired from driving trucks, with a decent pension and some savings. But he had no idea what he could afford, no plan for doctor bills, no clue what'd happen if his car broke down. That worry sat on him like a heavy coat, even if he wouldn't admit it. Finally, his daughter sat him down with a financial advisor. They made a simple plan: how much he needed each month, what to save for emergencies, what was left for fun. Frank told me later, "It's like I can breathe now. I don't have to guess." Then there's the other side, folks like my cousin Mary. Mary's 70, and she checks her investments every morning, fretting over every dip. Last year, she canceled a trip to see her grandkids because she was worried about market volatility. I said, "Mary, you didn't save all that money to stare at a screen. You saved it to live." She laughed, but it stuck. She took the trip, and those hugs from her grandkids? Worth more than any stock ticker. Here's what I've learned. A good financial plan isn't about being rich, it's about being free. Free to say yes to a dinner out, free to help a friend, free to sleep without worry. If you've been avoiding your money, take one step, call an advisor, or just write down what comes in and goes out. If you're obsessing, step back. Check your accounts once a month, make sure your basics are covered, then let go. Ask yourself, is my money serving my life, or am I serving it? Let go of fear, whether it's hiding or hovering. Your savings are a tool, not a trap. Use them to build a life full of joy, one choice at a time. 9. Stop acting like you've got forever. This one's the toughest, but it's the most important, so hear me out. By the time we hit 60, most of us have said goodbye to someone we love. A parent, a sibling, a friend, maybe a spouse. Those losses hurt, but they also teach us something. Life doesn't go on forever. I don't say that to scare you, but to wake you up. Letting go of the idea that you've got endless tomorrows is the key to living fully today. I've asked myself a question over the years, and it always stops me cold. If I knew this was my last year, what would I do differently? Who would I call? What would I say? What dream would I chase? Most folks can answer that question in a heartbeat. They'd forgive an old grudge, take that trip to the coast, tell their kids they're proud. But then we go right back to living like time's unlimited. Why do we do that? I knew a woman, Louise, who lost her husband at 64. After he passed, she found a notebook where he'd written dreams he never chased, learning to play the guitar, seeing the northern lights. Louise decided she wouldn't wait. At 66, she signed up for guitar lessons. Was she any good? Not really, but she'd strum away laughing, saying, "It's for me, not the radio." That choice changed her. She wasn't just grieving, she was living. You don't need a crisis to start. Right now you can pick up the phone and call someone you miss. You can book that train ride you've dreamed of, or start that garden you've sketched in your mind. Maybe it's simpler, saying, "I love you," before the day ends, or writing a letter to your grandkids about your life. Every step you take honors the time you've got left. Ask yourself, what's one thing I've been putting off that I could start today? Let go of thinking you've got forever. Life's fragile, but it's also beautiful, and every morning you wake up is a chance to make it count. Don't wait for a diagnosis or a deadline. Live now with all your heart. You're here, you're breathing, and that's enough reason to say yes to what matters most. Closing. There you have it, friends. 9 ways to lighten your load after 60. Not to lose anything, but to gain more peace, more laughter, more you. Letting go isn't quitting. It's clearing space for what makes your heart full. I've got a favor to ask. What's one thing you're ready to let go of today? Fear? Clutter? Waiting for tomorrow? If you're willing, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear, and you might just inspire someone else to take that step. If this spoke to you, pass it along to a friend, a sibling, someone who needs a reminder to live boldly. Here at Elders Wise Insight, we believe aging isn't about fading away. It's about shining brighter than ever. Thank you for sitting with me, for trusting me with your time. You're a blessing to this world, and don't you forget it. We'll see you soon.